easiest weekly update ever. Icing the wrist. This weekly update consists of a voiceover of all of Jeff Seiler's phone messages from Minneapolis, home of the Mayo Clinic. He phoned the Mayo Clinic to find out what it would take to get Dave Sim an MRI at the world-famous Mayo Clinic. So what you're going to get is the voiceover of that, and then I'm just going to shoot a bunch of images of the very latest in the strange death of Alex Raymond research materials. We're going to take the voice of the one and the pictures of the others, and Sandeep's going to put them together. Everybody goes home happy.
Okay, Dave, it's Jeff. I called the Mayo Clinic back and I got answers to most of your questions. I think all of your questions plus more information that's pertinent. In answer to doctor's reference, yes, you would need to have one of those, and the physician, if you have a reference, would have to call them to set up the appointment. There's a number for that. Or if you don't have a reference, you would have to see one of their doctors for a consultation prior to the MRI. As far as self-pay, that's okay. What they do, though, is they require a pre-service deposit, which is an upfront charge, and then whatever expenses you have are taken out of that, and if there are not any other expenses, then you get a refund. She said that if you do have to get one of their doctors to make the consultation, it would be a $5,000 to $7,000 cost for the consult and other possible initial testing, and that the ballpark figure for the MRI by itself would be $3,500. You would get a copy of the image of the MRI. She said probably on a CD. Prior to going there, you would have to call. If you're going to call by yourself, if you're going to call them personally, then you would call area code 507-284-2111 because they want to create a file on you, which would include name, birth date, address, phone number, and prior diagnosis if you have one. So what they would do if you don't have a doctor's referral is they would have you come in for the consultation. You could expect it to be about a 3 to 5 day trip, or stay or whatever. Once you have the consultation and they confirm that you need an MRI, which I told them that's all you want, then they would refer you to the international department, which is something I did not get very much information about, but I do have a number that I can call and get more information from them. Or if you want to do it yourself, it's 507-284-8884. That's, again, the international department. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah. You would have to see someone in the orthopedics department.
End of message. To delete this message, press 7. To reply to it, press 8. To save message deleted. Next message.
Yeah, so just to sum up, initially, if you went to the Mayo Clinic, you would have to pay a pre-service deposit of somewhere between $10,000 and $11,000, and then get refunded back anything that they don't feel is necessary, don't want to charge you for, which, yeah, I'd be really surprised if you get refunded. But that's what she said. The international department is 507-284-8884. You can expect a 3 to 5 day stay. You need to create a file with them ahead of time by calling 507-284-2111. If you have a doctor's referral, then the doctor can call 800-533-1564. self-pay. You do get a copy of the image, and I think that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I will probably call the international department after I hang up and see if there's any other pertinent information. So if I get anything else, I'll call you back later this afternoon. And that is it for now. Bye.
End of message. To delete this message, press 7. To reply, message deleted. Next message.
Okay, Dave, I called the international department and got more and I believe more accurate information. Actually, she said you would start first in the international department, and again, that phone number is 507-284-8884. You don't have to have a doctor's referral, but regardless of whether or not you do have a doctor's referral, you would still have to have a consultation within the international department. There would be a $7,000 pre-service deposit, which if you have just the consultation and the MRI would come in, those costs would come in right at about $7,000. The young lady who I spoke with earlier who said it was $3,500 is apparently wrong, because this woman that I spoke to sounded much more knowledgeable and said that she had just recently asked and found that it was $6,000 for an MRI. The consultation would run you about $500 to $800. Any blood work, which might be necessary, but I doubt it, would be extra. They might refer you for other initial testing. My guess is, because of how these places work, they probably would refer you for other initial testing. But that's just my guess. I have no idea. You would have to pre-register online, and the website is www.mayoclinic.org. And then when you get to the initial screen, you would scroll down to find a link to click on for international patients. You would need to fill it out, all of the information there, whatever it is. But she said you would have to know, or you would have to fill out your name as the same as it is on your passport. You would request an appointment. You would indicate what it is that you want to be seen for and what's wrong with your wrist. And I've seen it, but I don't remember exactly what it is, and I didn't write it down, so I wasn't able to tell them. You would then get a temporary Mayo Clinic ID number, and they would request records that you could send to them via email in a Word or PDF format. And I'm guessing if you can't do that, that you could mail records to them. But again, I'm guessing. And the records would need to be a medical summary, most recent reports and test results, and any related surgeries, which I'm pretty sure you haven't had.
End of message. To delete this message, press 7. Message deleted. Next message.
Okay, the phone cut off, and I didn't do what it normally says to do at the end of the call. So if you didn't get that first part, let me know, and I'll resend it. The records, once you sent them, would be reviewed by a doctor who would make a decision about whether or not the MRI, and this is the weird part, whether or not the MRI could be done better or the same locally where you are, or whether the Mayo Clinic could do a better job with it. And I think the fact that they have a 3T means that they could do a better job, but that would be a decision made solely by the doctor that reviews your records. So I think you would want to be very specific about what tests and reports you've received and what treatment, if any, et cetera, et cetera. I know you've been having physical therapy, so that you would definitely want to include. And I asked how would they know what's available there in Canada, and she said, well, it's the doctor makes the decision about whether we could do a better job. So I don't know. With within 72 hours of receiving the records, you would get a phone call back with either the result that no, they don't think that they could help you out, or an appointment which would be scheduled for anywhere within 6 weeks from when you would get that phone call. She made sure to specify, really stressed, that their place is not a test-only facility. You cannot just call there or go there and request an MRI. You have to be seen with consultation. And there is no guarantee, if you get the consultation, that you will then get the MRI. So that's pretty much how they operate. And if you can, you know, if the place in Chicago can do better, I'm guessing for not much less, then I would say go there, you know. But again, the Mayo Clinic is very, very top-notch. So your decision to make, but I think I've found out all of the information that's pertinent. You might want to pay more attention to the second round of phone calls than the first round, because that first lady didn't have completely accurate information. And again, if you have any questions, give me a call and I'll see what I can do. So there you go. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
End of message. To delete this message, press message deleted. Next message.
Okay. Current status, hold the Mayo. Hold the Mayo. We're going to hold the Mayo Clinic in reserve. The Buffalo MRI place, they were talking somewhere between 500 and 1,000 for an MRI, and they needed the doctor's referral. So I think the situation is now waiting for Steve H. in Chicago to get back from vacation and let me know about the doctor's referral. He was talking about see if we can get that doctor's referral either over to Buffalo or to the place that he's got in mind in Chicago. Long term, the MRI, you know, I plan to make generally available. 3T, top of the line MRI. Fill out the whole triage questionnaire, triage, how do you pronounce that? Questionnaire, you know, 20, 30 questions. Make that available. Throw any more questions at me that you've got for your clinic, and just get as many different opinions as possible from hand-wrist specialists as to what they think this is based on the questions that I answer and the MRI that they're looking at. If we get, let's say, a half dozen of them and they all agree this is what's wrong, this is what we need to do to fix it, then I think at that point you just say, well, okay, what's the nearest available place to get that done? On the other hand, if we get 6 different answers, then I'm going to be very hesitant about doing anything, because how am I going to pick which one of the diagnoses I go along with, or which one I want to take a chance on? I don't want to roll a dice on something like that. So at that point, we might be back to the Mayo Clinic, where, as Jeff said, you know, at that point I would be able to send them 6 different diagnoses from 6 different environments, 6 different doctors, 6 different opinions, and go, over to you, world famous Mayo Clinic. What do you make of this? So keep tuning in here to the weekly update every Friday for As the Wrist Turns. God willing, we'll see most of you next week.